Hello everybody, today is Monday, February 26th. It's 4:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The regular session is going to close in less than a minute. On my left is the time and sales, and you can see the Emini S&P making highs for the session at 27.84. So interesting uptrending day in the financial futures. And anyway, on my computer clock here you can see it's just a few seconds before the close. Anyway, interesting day today. The first chart is the Emini S&P on a 987 tick line break chart. This was pretty active. It was underwater this morning, just not a whole lot, about $300 drawdown, and then came back with this string of winners. And I've often talked about risk. You can see here the winners are mostly larger than the losers. The losers here are relatively small in this chart, so this is kind of what you want in a trading strategy. Have your settings such where your winners outshine your losers. Okay, next up is the mid cap on a Super Renko 14 tick. This had two trades. This one got prematurely stopped out, unfortunately, and then this trade probably brought us to our goal. It looks like our goal on this 1400. So indeed, we enter a market order when we hit our goal, so we had one tick of slippage here. Okay, next up is the NASDAQ on a 985 tick chart, and this was quite a large trade, almost accounted for all of our goal in a single contract. So obviously my settings on this, on the first contract, got taken off at 15 ticks. This is not an appropriate setting for this chart, which really came about because I didn't look at this too closely, obviously, but this should be a larger first target. To get stopped out here on the first bar, hitting our target right there is not in tune with the size of the chart and the size of the swings. So the goal on this one is only 1,000, and as stated, that was hit mostly on a single contract on this trade. Okay, next up is the bonds, and a single short trade here. Bonds trading inverse to the S&P today, did 812.50 on two contracts, and pretty nicely set up trade here. Okay, next up is the Emini S&P on a Super Renko 4-tick chart with probably a 2-tick other time frame, and indeed that is the case. This hit its goal of 700 for the day. 750 is the goal, so obviously we had some slippage with our market order at the end of trading. Okay, next up is the NASDAQ on a 1597 Heikin-Ashi tick chart, and on this one I believe I have fixed targets. And this is the first time I've ever plotted this time frame. So it's a limit order with a pullback of 8 ticks. That's significant, substantial perhaps. The first target is 35 ticks. It looks, based on this chart, it's a little small. And then we're trailing our stop beginning at 60 ticks by 25% and 90 ticks by 10%. So it looks like we hit 90 ticks here and got stopped out by 10% trailing stop on that trade. So anyway, needless to say, pretty respectable performance for this chart. Okay, two trades back to back on the Emini S&P 1597 Heikin-Ashi tick chart, and that's why I tried the 1597 Heikin-Ashi chart on the NASDAQ, because this chart has been very consistent. Coincidentally, this did around in the mid 600s today on two trades back to back, kind of similar to the NASDAQ chart, so that's interesting. Note here the signals on the BWT indicators, pretty good. Okay, next up is the Emini S&P on a Super Renko 2 tick, and this has a higher time frame or an other time frame. It's a Super Renko 2-tick with slightly different settings. Anyway, this did 730, 750, so probably 1 tick of slippage on a 750 goal. Finally, we have the bonds on a 377 tick line break chart. We've seen this chart quite a bit. This had a single short trade, very nicely placed on a line break chart, and this did almost $600 on 2 contracts. That's all for today's video. If you'd like to find out more, please visit our website or contact me at systems@bluewavetrading.com. Thanks for watching today.